recalling what Ambassador Cui Tiankai from China said to us 2 days ago. He was asked about this terrible conflict on the Himalayan border between India and China. And he said the border dispute shouldn't dominate China and India ties. From your differing perspectives as a policymaker and as a scholar, give me your views on, first of all, tell me what's currently happening on the border. I understand that there's talks, but actually at the same time, China has placed bombers and cruise missiles to an airbase within range of Indian troops. And so by and large, it's not going well. So please tell me first what you think is happening there and how in the short term you think it will be resolved.
Well, it seems to me that, to say the border shouldn't dominate the relationship, that's a wonderful sentiment. But in that case, China shouldn't have changed her behavior on the border. What we've seen since April is a buildup by Chinese forces on the western border in Ladakh. Indian troops have been prevented from patrolling where they have been patrolling for many, many years. And they've moved forward in several areas. And when we talk to them about restoring the status quo as it was before, which both sides are committed to under the agreements we've signed since 1993, we have so far not really succeeded. We've managed to disengage in 2 of the places, but there are still other places where we need to actually bring down the temperature. And the discussions, frankly, do not suggest that the Chinese troops are going to either move back or to thin out this buildup of forces very rapidly. So it looks like we're in for the long haul.
I want to talk about what's been really prevalent in the US press, and that is, this rise of populism, authoritarianism all around the world. And some US commentators would argue, even in India. India slipped 10 places to 51st position in the 2019 World Democracy Index. That's by far the lowest it's ever been. We're used to describing India as our great democratic partner, and, far be it from us to throw stones. We have our own issues right now. But what's really happening when I talk to friends who are in Kashmir, the lockdown was extreme. The internet even now isn't entirely restored. When President Trump visited early this year, there were riots in the street and killings of Muslims. Is the Western press overplaying this, or is it really, how bad is it?
I think we have a fundamental issue among ourselves, which we have to sort out, about the kind of republic we want. Whether we want a secular, plural, open, democratic republic, or whether we want, and there are many people today who say, no, we need something much harder, much stronger, much more majoritarian, as it were. I think that's something we have to sort out for ourselves, among ourselves. We have a huge debate going on.
How's the Indian economy doing? How is India weathering this?
So even before COVID, you did see some signs of strain in the Indian economy. Growth had slowed down to below 5%. That quarter, it was expected to remain below 5% in the next quarter. And so this has, like in every other country, added to that strain. The government has put some stimulus in the system. They will probably, down the line, if this continues, have to consider putting in more. There has been some kind of easing of, kind of trying to give some relief in terms of mortgage loans, etc., loan repayments, etc. So I think there's been an effort. There is definitely strain. And I think this is something that the Indian government currently is facing, this trifecta of, if not crises, at least strains, which is kind of health, economic, and national security. And so it is definitely not just kind of a strain on the government, it's a strain on the capacity of the system as well. And each one feeds into the other. So they're not kind of independent. So they are kind of, I think on the economic side, will have to be kind of rebuilding and hopefully some rejuvenation. Some of us have called for this moment, whether it's because of COVID or the standoff, for some real kind of another look at some of the big reform not in just for the sake of outsiders, but also to kind of get the Indian economy kickstarted that would allow it to grow the economic pie. So it's not just kind of, not just for the purpose of kind of a certain kind of segment of society benefiting, but to actually kind of kickstart the economy. There are certain steps that India can take: reconsider its trade policy, liberalize its investment policy, but also undertake some kind of land, labor, kind of the factor market reforms that many have called for, as well as then use that capital that you get, or revenue you get from that, to invest in physical and social infrastructure that India needs. Whether that will be done, I think remains to be seen.
Thank you very much. Shankar, Tanvi, thank you for being with us early in the morning, late in the evening for you. We really appreciate it, and we value the great partnership that the United States has with India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anja. Thank you very much. Thanks, Tanvi.